This has been Strictly Ball Business.
Strictly Ball Business.
Strictly Ball Business.
I like that video.
Welcome to Strictly Ball Business. We are here to talk to you about episode 60, baby. We got plenty of fun stuff today. We're going to talk about Benedict Mathurin, a guy who I thought maybe helped fund or find the Declaration of Independence. Rather, he is a professional basketball player. He's very skilled as a scorer, and we're going to talk about just what makes him so great. We're going to also talk about some of our most improved player candidates most improved leader, rather. So maybe player plays into that a little bit, but more specifically, which players really step in up for their team, leading them to a possible championship or a playoff berth this year. And then we're going to talk about which was a better draft class, 2017 or 2018. It's been a good 4 and 5 years since those respective drafts, so I think it's worth reflecting on. And then we're going to talk about the Denver Nuggets as well. They have a couple of players who we both knew high profile. We're going to come back this year, and they're off to a little bit of a slow start, but which one's playing better, we'll let you know between Murray and Porter, that is. Woo! Big
Bless
old
you.
sneeze, my bad.
Woo! God bless.
Ready to go with a big old sneeze. So, episode 50 or episode 60, guys. Here we go. We're gonna talk about Benedict Mathurin, and he's one of your favorite players. I know. He's definitely helping the Pacers out to a surprising record of 9-6 so far. And like we said earlier this offseason, check out one of our previous videos, guys, if you want to see how smart we are. I don't mean to toot our horn too much, but we did pinpoint the Indiana Pacers as a potential playoff team for this year. And I think a lot of people probably would have laughed at us, but right now they're playing better than the Bulls, and that could keep up. They're playing just as well as teams like the Raptors, and maybe that'll keep up as well. Lots of injuries around the league. You've got tankathons at the bottom of the East, but the Pacers are going to keep trying to win. And Benedict Mathurin is a big reason for that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about why he is helping this team get to that 9-6 record and possibly a playoff berth this year?
Yeah, so he's coming off the bench for them, filling in a lot of roles they got. He's a sizable guard, 6'6", he's been playing the wing, but I think it's his efficiency as a rookie. This guy came out already scoring 19.1 points per game, shooting splits on 44, 42, 82, basically 83. That's pretty crazy to see from a rookie. That's like typical all-star numbers. Like I think Chris Middleton is like that's very close to the role he played. And you're not getting much secondary playmaking out of him. It's a lot of just like kind of the perfect fit next to Halliburton, who's been great for them. Obviously, we can never talk enough about Halliburton on this channel, but Benedict Mathurin's just been killing it. Off ball, everything. He's just there. He's a perfect complement to Halliburton. It's been great.
Yeah, honestly, like they've just nailed that draft pick. Especially trading to get Halliburton next to him, like they work out really well in terms of their skills. And to be doing this on 27 minutes per game, it's going to be great to see what he does with 33 someday. And hopefully those days aren't too far away. He's basically playing like a 2K player right now, just coming in confident, shooting hot, making his shots. And honestly, with Banchero out, is he not the favorite for Rookie of the Year right now?
He actually is, yeah. So not because Banchero's been out, and which Banchero should be back next week. He's number one in the leaderboards. I don't think many people are close. I think maybe Jabari Smith is rocking third, but nobody's close to Banchero or Mathurin. I think right now it's just a 2-man race. I don't see it changing anytime soon. Maybe after the All-Star break, Jabari will hit his stride, or who else is out there? Not Chet.
There's Jaden Ivey, who's been struggling as a shooter, but looks really solid as a driver and a playmaker for that team. but really struggling in terms of having an ugly shot coming into the league, which we knew, but not making those shots. So makes sense with the ugly shot. I don't know. Can we fix it? Can we figure that out in the next couple of years? I think so. He's young enough. Hopefully he's coachable, right? That's the number one thing here. So he doesn't turn into Russell Westbrook, who we all know is a Hall of Famer, but ultimately is never going to win a championship. Would love to say a different matter for Jaden Ivey at the end of his career.
Yeah, no, definitely. And this is actually pretty crazy. I was just looking at the stat for Benedict. He's only making 38% from the corner. I mean, that sounds fine. That's above league average for like normal 3-point shooting. That's pretty low actually from the corner. Usually like good shooters are shooting plus 40s, hell, even 50%. Like, I bet you Utah's shooting like 50% from corner threes. But yeah, no, he's been great. 60% of his mostly about 70% of both field goals are assisted. So he's been doing a lot. He's able to create himself, but he's just flourishing in that offense. And yeah, I mean, right now, Rick Carlisle, everyone's complaining, like, why is he coming off the bench? Only 22 minutes a game. Rick Carlisle's like, listen, we're 9-6. We're rolling. We're doing well. They're looking competent. He's like, I'm not going to mess it up. Like, obviously, once they start to falter, then minutes will start getting put in. They're winning now. Rick Carlisle's like, you know what? There's just, if it ain't broke. So that's what they're going to keep going. And I don't see anything wrong with it. He's getting into filling a role. He's clearly flourishing, learning, and so is everyone else. And they're still utilizing Turner. So we'll see it. We'll see how it goes. Maybe Turner won't end up being traded because the system looks pretty well.
I think he's got a slow plan to get Mathurin starting eventually, maybe next year. But for now, he's playing great off the bench. And he's coming in hungry. He's coming in confident because he's got that sort of mentality. And, you want him coming in thinking he can, shoot shots and not have to give it up for other guys like Halliburton and Turner and whomever. But even with Duarte injured, who normally Duarte would start over Mathurin, which makes sense. Duarte is a great player in himself. Like we love him as well. But he's been hurt. And even with that, they've started another rookie, Andrew Nembhard, over Benedict Mathurin, just so that they can keep the rotation correct the way that they've planned it out. Because like you said, they don't want to mess with anything. And I'm fine with that as long as things keep going the way it's going. And I had a lot of doubts if Carlisle was really a great coach after last season. But this year, so far, looks like he's got the team figured out. Maybe just needed to give some time for guys to get bought into the system. And obviously, they've got the more correct personnel for what they want to accomplish. And, man, talk about hitting on the draft with two guys, Chris Duarte and Benedict Mathurin, in the later part of the lottery.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And it's good you mentioned Chris Duarte because like a lot of times you'll see these wings who you're like for the example the Cavs when you get wings like Mitchell and Karras and you're like I don't know if they can fit together because of defense or shooting. I see no reason why Mathurin and Duarte can't coexist on the same team. They're both good at both things. But I got two questions. They're good at great all around guards. First question. Benedict Mathurin, you think they might just leave him off the bench? I mean, if he keeps up these numbers, he's definitely in the running for 6th man of the year. How crazy would that be? Rookie and 6th man of the year? I mean, might as well.
That's true.
Why not?
I mean, honestly, the way it's going, I don't know who would compete with him for it. Like, I'd have to look into that because, like, 19 points per game off the bench is phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't know who who's leading, who has more coming off the bench right now. I mean, I can go through the scoring right now. Well, I'll try to do it while you answer this next question. So who was the best now that he's played some NBA time? Who's Benedict Mathurin's? What's a good player comparison for him right now, or a good ceiling?
For a guy that can shoot like as much as he does and can score as much as he can. Like the ceiling's pretty high. Like it's hard to say exactly where that is. Like I certainly think an obvious one is to say he can be as good as like Chris Middleton, but I would go even higher and say he could be as good as like Paul George, maybe. Who knows? Like he'd have to really step up his game as a defender. So maybe that's not a great comparison for like, play style. But in terms of scoring, I think he can certainly get there. Maybe as a historical perspective, Tracy McGrady, one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Tracy McGrady with a little bit of better shooting.
That's a good one. Yeah, I found Paul George is good. I think he's gonna fall somewhere between Paul George and Bradley Beal. Same tier, same skill tier, but like leans more into offense, not as good as defense type. So he's gonna be somewhere. He's gonna be Paul Beal.
All right. So you're agreeing with me on the Paul George one, and that's great for the Pacers. They're able to get another player like that late in the draft. I mean, just pretty insane. The skill level of drafting there.
Yeah, is Kelly Oubre coming off the bench?
Kelly Oubre?
I don't think so.
He must be. I mean,
well,
but let me see.
I think he's starting because
Yeah.
if Kelly Oubre is not coming off the bench, then he's definitely a 6th man of the year front runner with 19.1, 4 rebounds, 2 assists at the efficiency he's doing. Because even let's look at Kelly Oubre, 42. Wait, hold on, that's not right. Where's the efficiency on this thing? All right, there you are. Kelly's chilling at 42, 32, 73. Yeah, I mean, even then, still my fault. I think might as well just keep having him come off the bench. Has anybody in the NBA ever won rookie and 6th man of the year? Was that James Harden in the rookie of the year?
I'll Google it right now. Has anyone ever? Google it right now. I mean, James Harden comes to mind. Right, got it up faster.
No, probably not. I'd probably Googled the wrong thing. It's really hard to. I just keep saying who was the last rookie to win 6th man of the year? Let's see. Stat Muse. Ben Gordon. Is this NBA? Did I
Ben
switch
Gordon
to-
did.
Ben Gordon, Chicago Bulls. Ben Gordon won 6th man of the year and rookie of the 2004, 2005.
Ben Gordon, he was fun, like to play as in 2K on the Chicago teams. And then I remember he went to Orlando for a sec as his career was running out. But man, he had a lot of potential for a moment there. Definitely looked like he could score.
Okay.
Remember
Well,
him, or did you?
I
didn't
don't
watch the
know.
basketball back then.
I didn't watch basketball back then. But what do you guys think? Let's. If you were a betting man, would you comment your odds below on where Benedict Mathurin will fall in the 6th man of the year and rookie of the year race? Can he win both, or is he guaranteed to win one? Let us know below. All right. So if you're ready, let's talk. We had there's 2 draft classes.
And to answer your question, Kelly Oubre has started every game this year.
Okay, cool. Well, now we know that. But all right, let's get into it. So there's 2 draft classes back to back. I thought let's compare them. I do think one of them, they both have some superstars. I'd say maybe two of the top people are top 5 players now. But let's see if one outweighs the other. The 2017 and the 2018 draft class. All right. So let's look at it now. I mean, let's run down. 2018 has guys like Luka Doncic, Trae Young, DeAndre Ayton, SGA, Michael Porter Jr., who just got back, Mikal Bridges, Jaren Jackson Jr., Robert Williams, Jalen Brunson. All right, and Anthony Simons is in that draft. Colin Sexton, Wendell Carter Jr. This is pretty good. Gary Trent Jr. And then we follow to Kevin Huerter, Dante, some role players. All right, so that was 2018. So I think that's already a solid draft class. Top 10 are guys, considerable all-star type guys, right? So then 2017, Jason Tatum. This is my Fultz draft, but Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, solid start there. Bam Adebayo, De'Aaron Fox, Jonathan Isaac. Why is he's not that high in this? OG Anunoby, Lonzo Ball, John Collins, Lauri Markkanen, who's showing who's pretty great now. Jared Allen.
Yeah.
And then they got guys like Derek Wright, Monte Morris. So I do think it's pretty clear that I do think 2018 is better, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're close in terms of the top talent.
Yep.
Because like if 2017 didn't have Jason Tatum, it wouldn't be close. But Jason Tatum and Donovan Mitchell and Bam Adebayo, like that's a pretty solid trio along with Fox and Collins I like as well. But ultimately, 2018, I think would beat both of them because Trae Young's excellent.
Yep.
SGA continues to grow and is looking like an absolute stud this year. Really kicking myself for not finding a way to draft him in fantasy. Luka, we know, is gonna arguably be the best player in the league. A lot of people will see for different years.
Yep.
I don't know. Kind of depends on how you'll view the league, but eventually he'll win a championship, and everybody will continue to fawn over him. And DeAndre Ayton, at least gives you a great big man to step up against Bam. So, yeah, I'd probably go 2018 as well. It's interesting, though, how, different the draft classes feel. I don't know how to describe it, but
Yeah.
they definitely feel like different types of guys. And, we started to see some player movement on that 2017 side. And I think you give it another year and you're going to see some movement on that 2018 side. It's usually that 5-year mark where these guys really cut bait with either their team or the team cut bait with them for whatever reason. Who do you think's leaving?
Definitely.
DeAndre Ayton, right?
Yeah, probably DeAndre Ayton. You look at it, it's kind of funny. 2018 is very offense heavy. You get DeAndre Ayton, who's gotten better at defense. Michael Porter Jr. You get guys like Luka, Trae Young, SGA. He started off playing really good defense, but now he's the first scoring option. So you get super offensive guys on 2018, but in 2017 you get defensive guys. You get Bam, you get Jalen. Jason, you get Donovan Mitchell, OG Anunoby, Isaac, if he ever plays an NBA game. It's basically just an author, Alonzo Ball. So I feel like 2017 is a lot of defense. But here's the real question. So let's build these a starting 5 from each team, and let's see if you had to compare the starting 5s, who would win. All right, so let's start with 2017. So
okay, so 2017, obviously Jason Tatum's in the starting lineup.
Yeah, I know. He's probably Bam's probably the center. Donovan Mitchell's shooting guard. Lonzo Ball's the point guard. Oh, Fox at point. Then probably OG's probably
John.
3.
Or
OG.
Who's at the 4?
I'd say OG over John Collins. I think Anunoby is a better player than John Collins.
Yeah, that's fair, I suppose.
So OG at small forward, we'll say Jason Tatum at power forward, Bam at center, and then Donovan Mitchell at SG, and then Fox. All right. Then let's go over 2018. So obviously Ayton's the center. I'm gonna say Trae's the point guard, and I'll put Luka at 2. Which you could really put Luka 1 through 3, but we'll see how it fits. Luka, let's put Luka at the 3, and then SGA at the 2. If that's cool, if that makes sense.
Luka at the 3.
He's 6'8". Like he played. Yeah. That's what he was drafted.
No, that's fine. Like you gotta have those 3 in there because they're all excellent.
Yeah, Ayton, and then Michael
MPJ.
Porter Jr. Yeah, MPJ.
Yeah. Well, who else would be possibly there? What about Jaren Jackson as a defender?
Jaren Jackson, Mikal. If we're saying the best 5, it depends.
Mikal's probably the best defender, honestly, to put in there because really missing a lot of defense.
Yeah, but who's the better overall player, Jaren Jackson or Michael Porter? That's kind of what I'm getting into. Is we're just taking the 5.
What
best
about
players.
Mikal Bridges?
Yeah,
Michael Porter or Mikal Bridges? I honestly would maybe argue Bridges because I don't know. What do you think? MPJ is definitively better than Bridges?
No. With injuries aside, I think he's a better player. But if I take injuries into how I consider it, and so I'd say Mikal. That's fine, Mikal there. So which of these teams would win?
All right.
Would win? Would you take? I think.
Wait, repeat the lineups back to me.
If this was a team, which would you say is win? Which starting 5's winning a game? It would be a pretty insane offense. 2018 would be with Trae and Luka there. SGA is just gonna be just cool. But the defense, I'm gonna take offense. I'm gonna say 2018 is gonna win. In this NBA, defense can't stop everything, and I think There's certainly not enough shooting on 2017 side here. So I'm gonna take Trey, SGA, Luka. I think they're gonna win.
I think ultimately there's so much offense on both sides that like defense would not really matter too much. I think Bam could help out certainly, but I mean him and Ayton are pretty comparable. I mean, I don't know how they've matched up one-on-one, but I mean, is Bam head and shoulders above Ayton? Maybe he is. Maybe I'm a little naive in that comparison, but I feel like the guys around Ayton could help out at least.
Yeah, you could make an argument, like looking at 2017 here, you could make an argument that like there's more winners on that starting five. I mean, minus honestly. Fox, Donovan Mitchell's been in the playoffs every year. OG's been in the playoffs. Has the Raptors been in the playoffs? Either way,
he was on the championship team.
Yeah, he's great. Jason Tatum, we know he's definitely a winner, and Bam, the Heat have been winners. So you can say, and Luka, the Mavs struggled for a while, the Hawks struggled for a while. SGA's still on granted, it's not all these players' fault, but they're on bad teams. Mikal Bridges has won. Ayton has obviously been with him and won on the Suns. So I would say I would still give the edge to 2018, but it's not like it's an easy pick. I mean, 2018 has all these great guys, so.
Yeah, 2017 does ultimately have a lot of winners. I'm gonna say I think I forgot to mention that earlier, but like Mitchell's like been in the playoffs since year one because he was so good. He brought them there. How many rookies can you say that do that for their team? I mean, that's basically what he did. Yeah, they also had, I'm sure, Gobert year 1 too, but Mitchell was the leading scorer. Like, he was their offense, and sure, he had some other decent scores around it, but ultimately he came in and everybody was like immediately within the first week like, oh crap, who the heck is this guy? We apparently missed him on the scouting report. Like, so whoever passed on him in the draft, they were just like, the first day he came out, played NBA, they're like, fuck, we messed it up.
Think about that every day. I'm like, we have Jonathan Isaac. We could have fucking had Donovan Mitchell. And the 76ers are probably killing themselves because they got Fultz, which, granted, we didn't draft Fultz number 1 overall, but that was probably the worst.
Oh my God.
Even though I love Fultz.
Mitchell was on the Sixers by now, they probably would have won a championship.
Probably would. Yeah.
Had a better chance.
It would have been funny because Ben Simmons still would have been on that team. But these are the teams. Which draft class do you think you got? Which one? Comment that below. We want to hear it. Did we miss somebody? Who would you swap out in any of these starting fives? Let us know below. All right. So we're almost a quarter way through the season. Let's talk about most improved. I mean, this is where we see a lot of them show out. Certainly there's guys that'll come out at the very end of the season that we're like, oh, you know what? That they got it. They won. I mean, they pick up steam. But for now, I want to hear, do you got 3 guys in mind who could be at the top of your most improved?
And so we're talking about the award now. Are we talking about most improved player?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, at first I thought we were going to talk about leader, but no worries. In terms of most improved player, I think it's pretty clear the favorite is Lauri Markkanen in my eyes. He's just playing incredible right now. Nobody saw this coming, and hopefully he continues because just a total rebranding of Lauri Markkanen would be super cool. Yeah. For that to continue. I think like as a potential guy, I think Jalen Brunson maybe could be up there. I don't know. I think we saw this a lot with him, the potential to carry a team when Luka has been out. But I think if he keeps it up for the whole year, people are going to need to give him more respect. Not necessarily where he deserves to win most improved player, but they need to recognize, like, okay, Jalen Brunson is a decent player. He's worth having the ball in his hands. Like, I think he needs more around him. I don't think he should be the primary scorer, but I don't think it was bad necessarily to not bring Donovan Mitchell in. Maybe it would have been worth bringing him in, if you didn't have to give up any of your current players for it. But I don't know. That's another tale. My last guy for most improved player. I don't know. That's a tough one. Maybe
I got a couple names we can talk about. But one thing, I'm looking at the odds right now, and I do think it's worth saying the leading the odds is SGA at 350.
Really?
But I think obviously he's improved. I think he deserves a mention. But that's too reminiscent of picking Ja again for most improved. I mean, like I
really
get it.
Gonna do.
I get it.
Crazy.
But that's not most improved. Like the guys on my most improved list. I mean, Lauri Markkanen. Yeah, that great name. I predict he's on my list. I didn't predict him as the most improved, but he was on my list. I'll mention this 1,000 times.
That's good. Yeah.
But I want to mention Magic Bol. It's been great. If we're talking stats, he's probably the most improved. He went from 2.4 points per game to right now 13.3. But this guy's putting up 20 points now. He's a starter. Shit's going up for him. I think he's worth mentioning.
Yeah, I think it's great. He's finally on a team, that's giving him an opportunity because they're bad, and the Nuggets, they just weren't really gonna be willing to give him that. And I don't remember where he had bounced before the Magic, but great to see him just playing confidently. He's getting buckets. He's shooting the ball. He's such a great ball handler for his size, and would love to see it continue in a significant role. And it seems like the Magic have a ton of talent now, so hopefully he continues to be a part of it. Like, you see him play like this, I don't know how you could possibly not give him minutes, even when guys come back, because it's just too good not to play.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens with this.
No, 100%. And I mean, he's the one that pushed Mo Bamba out of the starting lineup. He's just been playing great. I mean, aside from 8 rebounds, he's only averaging 13 points, which has been going up. Obviously, we just mentioned that, but 8 rebounds, 2 blocks a game. Great. Yeah. Great start. And this is 8 rebounds off, with Banchero's averaging 8 rebounds and Wendell's averaging 9 rebounds. So this team's, it's not like he's just like the only center on the team. Like Mason Plumlee gets 9 rebounds a game because no one else on the team is going to. So
they have a lot of size. They have a lot of size on the Magic, but he's working hard to get his rebounds. And so I think ultimately, hopefully see these stats continue. I don't know. What's your starting 5 for the Magic when they're fully healthy?
Fultz, Wagner, Bull, Banchero, Carter.
Yeah, that's such a
still fucking huge. But it works because right now they have Franz playing the point when Suggs is out. He can play a 2-guard, no problem. Bull's already playing small forward, and Banchero and obviously Fultz, Banchero, and Wendell Carter. That's their natural spots at the 1, 4, and 5. But I'm super curious to see how that goes. I think there's enough shooting because Bull can shoot, Banchero can shoot, Carter can shoot. Fultz is probably the worst shooter on that team. But
I think the main thing is, will they be fast enough? Will they be laterally quick enough?
I do think so. Bull might be the slowest person at small forward, but I mean, it's positionless. I think Wendell Carter's really fast for a center. Banchero's obviously can get downhill. Franz can get downhill. Fultz can get downhill. I'm not worried about those 3. But Bull's the only one I'm scared that he can't get down there. But he can cover some distance. But let me get into my other 2 guys that I think could be most improved players. And they're both on the same team. I think the Spurs has seen great success with Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson. I mean, we talked about Keldon Johnson before. He's a star. He's just looking like an all-star, period.
Yeah, that would be my 3rd candidate for most improved, honestly, because that guy's a dog.
Yeah, I mean, he's great. He's cooked your Timberwolves numerous times this season.
Well, him and Sohan, yeah.
Oh yeah, Sochan.
They got some good. No, it's Sohan.
Is it Sohan?
Or Sohan? Yeah.
Sohan.
Yeah, the C is silent.
C is silent C.
Yeah, it's stupid, I know, but it's the truth. But yeah, I mean, the Spurs, it's a good system to be in. It's a good spot to develop. If you've got talent, they're probably going to pull the most out of you. And worst case scenario, you'll get traded for some picks, go to a winning situation at some point.
Yeah,
Best
definitely.
Case scenario, you're part of a great team someday.
Oh yeah, I mean, if they have both these guys right now, I mean, I love Devin Vassell. He's been great. He's one of the best all-around young players in our league right now, and he's just been fantastic. He's averaging 20 points per game. Just got back from injury. Keldon Johnson's obviously, I think he's averaging like 23, 24. He's been killing it. So it's good to see that. Like, I mean, after the whole, who's the guy that just got like fired from the Spurs because of like sexual harassment?
Josh Primo.
Josh Primo. We thought he was going to take a huge role. Obviously not. They got rid of Murray. We're just kind of like, who left is on this team? They're definitely buying in for Victor Wembanyama. Victor.
Banana.
Wembanana. The Wham Bam Banana. So anyway, they're definitely buying in. But no, they've been pretty good. They've been killing. I like both those guys. They're both two-way type players, more Vassell than Johnson, but I'm down with them. Either of them could win it. I like SGA. I see his improvement. I know you agree with this. I just don't think he should be most improved because he's not the most improved.
Yeah, that would be silly. I mean, he's literally been given a maximum contract extension. If you're making max money and you're coming off a great year, I mean, he had a great season last year. He had a great season before that. He's just getting better each year. I don't know. That's just silly. Like,
yeah, this isn't the BIP award, the best improved player.
Yeah.
This is the most improved player. It's the MIP, the MIP, not the BIPI.
I mean, the award every year before the John Morant year, it's always been a player who's completely changed their reputation from one year to the next. And you can tell those things just outside of the stat sheet and just based on what they've been doing night in, night out. And a lot of it will come through the stat sheet as well. But overall, like, Lauri Markkanen is the guy this year that has turned the most heads. Everybody's been like, what? Yeah. Like, I'm like, that's the most improved player right now. And unless something drastically changes with him, if he keeps this up, if they make the playoffs, if they are looking like they're going to make playoffs, he's the guy. And if they give it to SGA, that's just total garbage.
Yeah, I mean, let's look, because they had it right. So last year was John Morant, who was an all-star before. He was an all-star now. Granted, his numbers went up. Julius Randle was 2020-21. Yeah, I agree with Julius Randle. Became an all-star. Made sense. Brandon Ingram. Yep. Made it the first year as an all-star. Came out of that funk he was in. Pascal Siakam. That was probably the biggest example. Came out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Victor Oladipo had high expectations just like Giannis, who was the year before him. Both had high expectations, but
he was dragging his feet for years.
True. Ja came out right away as one of the he won Rookie of the Year. You know, none of these players won.
The different situation. I mean, yeah, like Victor Oladipo, he got traded twice before he really found his footing in the league. And,
exactly.
Like, there was good reason for why he was traded.
Yeah.
Like,
fizzled out in Orlando, just did not work well next to Russell Westbrook and OKC. Like that. Yeah. That's what happened.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, with these players, like, it's a reputation thing. Like, they had one reputation when they were in the league and then completely switched it within 1 year. And then maybe in Randall's case or in Victor's case, it reverted back and ultimately not having a great career trajectory or not where we thought it would be. But that doesn't mean for this year we shouldn't celebrate that greatness and the comeback that they made. Like last year, Jordan Poole's the guy everyone wanted to celebrate as the sixth man of the year, as the most improved player of the year, because he completely turned around his career trajectory after a couple of years of refinement in the G League and with the Golden State coaching staff. I mean, his head coach Steve Kerr has even said like he looks night and day different since when he first became a Warrior, and he never thought that Jordan Poole would become this type of guy.
No, exactly. And I mean, it's not supposed to. You're not rewarding the rich with this award. It's supposed to reward those guys who like work hard.
It's not supposed to do with playoff success either.
Exactly.
It shouldn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah. I mean, the guys before that too, CJ, Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, all of it, just cementing the point that where it should be guys like Bull, Lauri Markkanen. Yeah. Lauri Markkanen would be a perfect example. That's the exact example we need. Bowles also falls in that example.
Yeah, Keldon too. Yeah.
Keldon and Devin
I'd be okay with.
But that's not the storyline. But that's also like another That's
But
much
even
like
then,
Giannis.
they're not that far off. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly like Giannis and Pascal Siakam, who they just played their time, filled their role until they could excel.
But
They
even
excelled
like,
in their role.
wasn't Siakam like a second round pick though?
Yeah, he was a second round pick. He was pretty.
So
far.
even that's like its own accomplishment,
right?
To come from where he was and become the first option on a team within a year, or like a second option, like pretty crazy.
But what do you guys think? I want to know who you guys think should be most improved. If the NBA was ending today, who's most improved? Also, along with that, comment below. Just let us know if you think Josh should have won most improved last year. I want to know what you guys think. Let's hear about the greater good. But now let's move on to our final topic. We're just going to talk about the Nuggets. They got two major guys on their teams that is coming back, filling roles. I want to know what you're thinking about them. Do you think they're fitting in fine? Do you think the Nuggets? We had high expectations for the Nuggets. Do you think the Nuggets are going to meet those expectations by the end of the year? By the time the playoffs come around, they're going to do it.
I think like overall, these guys, Jamal Murray and MPJ, are going to need some time to get more aggressive, more confident, really get it going. I think once we're in the halfway point of the season and back half, you're going to really see those guys take over games and really be able to take the load off of Jokic's shoulders. But for now, they are not pushing too hard. They're trying to stay within themselves, not overshoot if they're, having a slumpy night. But I like, MPJ seems like he's getting it going more than Jamal Murray. I don't know. Jamal Murray just seems like he's kind of dishing it away more often. But to be fair, Jamal Murray missed a lot of time, like almost 2 full seasons in reality. So it's great to see them both back because they had some tough injuries. They're coming back from. A lot of people really wrote off MPJ immediately because this is like his third back surgery he's had in the last 5 years, or like 5 or 6 years. So, fair thing to be wary about, but he's looking great. So what do you think about these guys?
You covered it all. I mean, Michael Porter Jr., I think he's falling into his role a lot faster. Granted, he just got injured last season, like the beginning of last season, right? And he's always had back problems, but I think he's able to fit into it more because Jamal is fitting back into the point guard role, which Jokic was filling last year. I think it's fine. They're both average. It's not terrible efficiency. Jamal's still just shooting 35 from 3. That's really what sticks out to me. 43% from field is pretty fine for a guard. I'm pretty sure that's what Donovan Mitchell's averaging. But it's the 35. I think that's if this is the just coming back from injury, he's gonna get better, and he's known for being better as a shooter. And they still have guys they have such a solid core. These guys went to the playoffs the year before. KCP is such a great guy to fall back onto. Aaron Gordon's been one of the most solid guys on this roster since he came here. He's been great. I've always loved him,
even as a scorer, surprisingly.
Yeah, averaged 15 points a game and 15, 16 a game last season effectively. And now this year he's 14.5 points per game, 57% field goal, but then 31 from 3, 62 from free throw. That's not that good, but he's still a +5 player. He's the second best player on this team according to plus minus.
He's mixing in some big games too when they've needed him, getting some 20-point games, which is surprising to see from him sometimes, but he can get it going. He can be aggressive, and ultimately, I think he's just a great team player. And I think our expectations for the Nuggets are reasonable. I think they do not have as much depth as they've had in past years. Like Bones Highland is a fine player, but they really, I feel like, are missing some scoring off the bench.
They have what I like to it's like a carnival type of bench. You'll get guys like the Timberwolves have a very prototypical bench where they're like, this is our bench, these are the guys that are going to run their rotations, these are our starters. The Nuggets really they're like, all right, Jokic is coming off, DeAndre Jordan's come in, Murray's going to become the primary ball handler, and then they do that where they have guys to fill positions, like to play roles rather than here's our bench coming on. They're like, oh, they're going to filter the starters. It's like staggered where all the roles are still filled by starters. They just have filler guys like Bruce Brown's just a defender who can hit a three, and then they got Bones Highland who can run a tertiary offense. DeAndre Jordan who's good for rebounding. Jeff Green, solid. They have all these guys that just come in and fill like minor roles because they'll always still have like one or two starters on the floor, which is not bad. I mean, that's the way Mike Malone's always played it, which is fine. It's super good. I mean, they're not even playing that many minutes, so I'm pretty sure it's fine. It'll be fine. I actually didn't think they were going to get that MPJ and Murray were going to be this good this early, honestly. I do think if they're already averaging 16 points each, I think they'll be where we expect them to be by playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, we're still very early in the season, and even in the next 10, 15 games, you could see a lot of improvement out of these guys. So it'll be interesting to see where they can get to. I think ultimately they'll both be averaging over 20 points per game in the second half of the season. That's my prediction. I'm going to stamp it.
Okay. I hope so. I got Jamal on my fantasy team. I got some nice trivia questions for you. And if you guys want to participate down below, you can in your head. You can comment us whether you got it right or not. Jokic, what do you think his 3-point percentage is now with all this extra help? First, has it gone up or down?
What was he at last year?
What was he at last year? His last year stats were 33. Let's say 34%.
34% from three last year. I think he is up at 36%.
You think he's up at 36%?
Yeah.
He is down to 28%.
Oh, he's struggling this year. Oh man,
Pretty crazy. He is taking two less threes a game. Now, so field goal attempts. What do you think his field goal attempts are this year? With two scoring options back, what do you think? What's his field goal? How much has it dipped? How many shots is he not taking now that these two are back? It's pretty surprising, actually.
I'm guessing he's taking like 4 less a game.
4 less a game? Yeah, that's pretty close. Yeah. He was about 17.7 last year. Now he's at 13.1. So almost 5. If you round it up, 18 to 5, almost 5. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. That 5. He's only down 5 field goals, and then they both are taking where's their field goals? 15 and 12. Jamal's taking 15 shots. Michael Porter's getting 12. So that kind of constitutes where all the depth is going, where all the scoring is coming from. Just to solidify what I was talking about with how it's a very role-filled bench that they just kind of fill them in for that stuff. But did you guys get those right? Comment them below. Let us know. You got anything else this episode, Alec? Did we hit everything?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, the NBA is swizzling, it's swazzling. I am excited to see where things go. We're still very early in the season where, there's just fun games all the time. I'm watching tons of basketball. The Blazers, I'm having a fun time watching. The Jazz are a fun team to watch. The Kings are lighting the beam. You've seen the beam, right?
The beam. It's like good for them. They're like the Sacramento fans might not want the pity, but like every time they win a game, I'm like, good for you. Good.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't even care when they when they come to the Magic, if they could blow the Magic out by 40, I'll be like, good for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, they're looking great. Mike Brown's really got this team looking solid. They finally, I think, have a good coach there, and they've got the right personnel. Like Sabonis is awesome. Like ultimately, yes, Fox and Halliburton were 2 fantastic players, but them together wasn't ultimately really going to work out. And you could turn one of them into a great player. Maybe they realized we could get a better haul, getting rid of Halliburton. I don't know if they just simply had decided at the time they'd rather have Fox. Maybe ultimately that's what it was. I don't really blame them for deciding that. Like you said earlier, you think Halliburton will end up being much better. And I'm fine with that, but I don't know if it'll be that big a difference. I think they're both going to be all-star guards for their entire careers. And the Kings chose a guy who has been around with them a little longer. and he's been leading the offense. So I think there was a bit more familiarity there.
Yeah, I mean, it was his team when he showed up, and I think that's fully all right. Who do you think won the trade? If you had to look at it today, who won the trade?
I mean, it's definitely a win-win trade, but right now I'm gonna say the Kings have won it as long as Sabonis continues to play like an all-star big as he is, at least on the offensive end, and he does well enough on defense. I think if this Kings team makes the playoffs, like that was number one what they wanted. They needed to get that monkey off the back. And from then on, you could just grow. You could just get better as a team. I think Sabonis can be a big part of that. So right now, I'm saying the Kings have won the trade, but it's a win-win trade.
Yeah. Since we're talking about the Kings, let me toss out a name. Since that you said they might blow this team up, I think this team will blow up if they lose the Anthony Davis lottery. If they don't get Anthony Davis, the Bulls. We talked about them a lot. If the Bulls end up blowing up their team because they can't get Anthony Davis, do you think this guy would be a perfect fit, or do you think he just kind of doubles down on their defense issue? You think Zach LaVine would be a perfect fit next to De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis?
I don't think it's a perfect fit. I think they would rather have somebody with some defensive ability. Honestly, if I was the Kings, I'd rather have DeMar DeRozan. I'd rather just trade for him. Get a guy with some veteran leadership. Just really lock into a couple years with a guy who is going to give you buckets. Is going to give you some solid defense. But ultimately, I mean, LaVine, I don't know if that's the guy I would want to trade for. I feel like I'd have to give up more for him. I just gave up a lot to get Sabonis. You still get an all-star player in DeMar DeRozan. And I think he's going to be playing at a great level. Another 4 seasons is what I would say.
Yeah. I think DeRozan would hurt their shooting more than LaVine would hurt their defense. That's my only thing, because they already have 2 guys that aren't the best at shooting. I mean, granted, actually Fox has been really good from 3 this season, but he's still not a shooter. And I think they need like a shooter, like a guy like LaVine. However, LaVine does choke has choked in the past in the playoffs, but we'll see how that goes. One thing that's pretty funny that I like that I just thought about now is like, you think the Timberwolves should be calling on the Sacramento Kings to be like, hey, Fox is a guy who loves the paint, loves hanging out in the paint. Think they should be looking at what the Sabonis and Fox are doing on offense and mirror that for what Gobert and Edwards are doing?
I think it can make some sense, but the thing is that it's less of Fox versus Edwards as it is Fox versus D'Lo and Edwards, because D'Lo is really the ball controller for a lot of the offense. And so when Ant gets it, he's looking to score. And if he passes it to someone else, it's because he didn't find an opportunity for himself to score. Mm-hmm. If he was the primary ball handler, he was bringing it up, doing pick and rolls with Gobert as a plan, and D'Lo wasn't part of the situation, I think, they'd have a lot to learn, and maybe they could actively do that. But I don't see Ant's mentality changing anytime soon with the fact that he gets the ball, he wants to score. Maybe he'll feel more comfortable dumping it off to Gobert late as he drives it in. But that's what I see happening in terms of Ant's passing ability, at least for this season.
Okay. All right. Well, good to know. Well,
maybe it's harsh. I don't know.
No, that's all right. But that was some Kings talk, I guess. My Fred is yelling at my door. This guy either he's got to pee, or he thinks he has to eat. It's not dinner time.
He's got to yeet.
He's got to yeet. But what? Let me think. Comment below. Let's talk about the Kings season. Let's start a discussion. Kings guys, yell at us for something we said right.
Light the beam.
Light the beam. But that's been Strictly Ball Business. Is that right, Alec?
That is Strictly Ball Business, episode 60. We are coming to you straight from the land down under. No, I'm just kidding. We are from Minnesota. Of course, the land up over, never sober.
We are the North.
This is all right. We are the North. If you see the Northman, man, we are the Northmen. That's what we're talking about, okay? Strictly ball business. Signing out. Thanks for watching. Shit. I didn't know it was